Another ongoing project that has been part of our research program from the beginning is geophysical prospection, which has consisted mainly of magnetic survey. We tested another technique, electrical resistivity testing, last year.
So this is a resistance meter, and we are doing some geophysical prospection at Notion. And in prior years, we've done some magnetic radiometry survey. This year, we're trying to complement that with some resistance survey. Both techniques measure different properties of the same features in the subsurface, trying to detect what's beneath the surface without actually coming into contact with it.
The magnetic survey basically detects disturbances, minute disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field caused by structures buried underground. Resistivity measures the conductivity of the Earth, which is also affected by whether or not, for example, you have earth or stone.
We're working right in front of the theater here, and just behind us up to this direction is the big and major administrative center of the city. And what is less visible on the surface are the houses, the more private spaces. What we're really finding is the fabric of the city, where people lived and where people spent their time on a day-to-day basis.
If we continue to work at the site, and if we start excavations at the site, that will be our major focus. Our major focus will be on trying to investigate the life, the history, the experience of the community of people who lived at this site through study of their houses, which are ultimately more revealing in many ways than the public buildings. We experimented with a new technique this year, which is ground-penetrating radar, which is the same as radar, that's used to track airplanes, except instead of going through the air, it goes through the earth.
It's somewhat more time-consuming, somewhat more intensive to process, but the depth values that you get aren't the types of the types of information that we can get with these techniques, which are very two-dimensional. They give us an idea of that thin sliver, the top 50 centimeters of the subsurface, where with the radar we could get multiple layers going down 2 or 3 meters, which could be interesting in some places.
We can see the difference between the materials and the layers and the thickness of layers, and if there is any material that it shouldn't be there, we can see it. So what do I mean by it shouldn't be there? Because it's made by human.
The good results came from terraces, but on the eastern part of the site, where there are what seem to be quite large, substantial houses, and I'm very excited about that because they're giving us more information about the structure of the houses than we are able to get simply from study of the surface or from magnetic prospection.
What's missing from a lot of these techniques is getting to that refined, what were people wearing, what types of tools were people using, what are the dates of these spaces, and so we can get that from the material that's all around us on the surface without excavating. Or we can also excavate and find in even greater detail the stratigraphic time periods that would fill these spaces that we're just getting the outlines and shapes of.
The geophysical prospection has given us really great clues as to how we will, I hope, efficiently and successfully get at answers to the questions we have about the residential parts of the city.